He was holding the bottle in one hand and his phone in the other. 103 rejection emails. He'd counted them twice. The bridge was 2 miles away. He'd already mapped the route. This is Marcus Webb. And before you think this is another one of those, I failed, and then I made it stories, it's not. Because the truth is, most people who stand where Marcus stood that night don't make it to the other side. Most people quit. Most people break. Most people disappear into the kind of silence that makes their family stop bringing up their name at dinner. Marcus was 29 years old. He had $17 in his bank account. He'd been applying to jobs for 8 months straight. Good jobs, bad jobs, jobs he was overqualified for, jobs that didn't even require a college degree. Every single one said no. And the worst part, he couldn't even tell you why anymore. Let me take you back 6 months before that night. Marcus had a job, a decent one, marketing coordinator at a mid-size firm in Chicago. Nothing glamorous, but it paid the bills. He had an apartment, a routine, a girlfriend named Simone who believed in him more than he believed in himself. Then the company restructured. They called it downsizing. He called it getting erased. 37 people lost their jobs that day. Marcus was number 12. They gave him 2 weeks severance and a company mug he left in the trash on his way out. Simone told him it would be okay. You'll find something better, she said. You always do. He believed her. For the first month, he was optimistic. He updated his resume, reached out to old contacts, applied to 15 jobs a week. He got interviews, 3 of them, all went well. Then, nothing. We've decided to move forward with another candidate. We appreciate your time, but... Unfortunately, by month 2, the optimism became anxiety. By month 3, anxiety became desperation. He stopped showering as often, stopped going to the gym, started lying to Simone about how many jobs he'd applied to because the truth, 43 in 1 week, sounded pathetic even to him. Month 5 is when Simone left. Not because she stopped loving him, but because watching someone drown and not being able to save them, that kind of helplessness turns into resentment. She said, I can't watch you give up on yourself anymore. He said, I'm not giving up, I'm trying. She said, no, you're suffering, there's a difference. She packed her things on a Thursday. He didn't try to stop her. What was he going to say? Stay and watch me fail some more. That night, he applied to 22 jobs. He got automated rejections, from 19 of them within an hour. Here's what people don't tell you about failure. It's not dramatic. It's not one big collapse. It's 1,000 tiny defeats that chip away at you until you can't remember what it felt like to believe in yourself. Marcus stopped answering his mom's calls because he couldn't take the hope in her voice. He avoided his friends because their pity was worse than their advice. He started going to the grocery store at midnight so he wouldn't run into anyone he knew. Rejection does something to your brain. It tells you that you're the problem, that you're not good enough, that maybe everyone else sees something in you that you're too blind to see. And the cruelest part, you start to believe it. Month 8, day 247. Marcus had just gotten his 103rd rejection. This one stung differently because it was for a job he didn't even want. A customer service position that paid $12 an hour. They said he was overqualified. He laughed, out loud, alone in his apartment, the kind of laugh that turns into something else if you're not careful. He opened his laptop, stared at the spreadsheet he'd been keeping, every job, every application, every rejection. He'd color-coded them, red for immediate rejections, yellow for interviews that went nowhere, green for there were no greens. He closed the laptop. He opened a bottle of whiskey he'd been saving for a celebration that never came. He sat on the floor of his apartment, the one he'd have to leave in 30 days because he couldn't make rent, and he thought about the bridge. Not in an abstract way, not as a metaphor. He thought about the specific bridge, the height, the water, how long it would take. He thought about his mom finding out, his dad, Simone. He wondered if they'd be sad or just, relieved. He picked up his phone. He didn't call a hotline. He didn't call a friend. He called his little brother, Jamie, 22 years old, still in college, still figuring out his life. Jamie picked up on the second ring. "Yo, what's up?" Marcus didn't say anything at first, just breathed into the phone. "Marcus." "Yeah, I'm here." "You good, man?" Pause. "No." Jamie didn't ask what was wrong. He didn't try to fix it. He just said, "Where are you?" "Home." "I'm coming over." "You don't have to. I'm already getting my keys." Jamie lived 45 minutes away. He made it in 30. They sat on the floor. Marcus told him everything. The rejections, Simone, the bottle, the bridge. Jamie didn't interrupt, didn't tell him it'll get better, didn't try to motivate him. When Marcus finished, Jamie said, "Do you remember when Dad left?" Marcus looked at him. "I was 7, Jamie continued. "You were 14. You told me something that night. You probably don't even remember, but I do." "What did I say?" "You said, sometimes the only way forward is to just survive today. Not tomorrow, not next week, just today." Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. Jamie kept going. "You survived for me back then, so I'm asking you to survive tonight. Not for your career, not for Simone, not even for Mom, just survive tonight. For you." They sat in silence for 20 minutes. Then Jamie said, "I'm staying here tonight." Marcus didn't argue. Nothing magical happened that night. Marcus didn't wake up the next morning with a job offer. He didn't have some profound realization. He didn't suddenly believe in himself again. But he woke up. That's it, he woke up. Jamie made coffee, burned toast. They ate in silence. Then Jamie said, "What's one thing you can do today? Just one." Marcus thought about it. "I could rewrite my resume, again." "Okay, do that." So he did. Not because he thought it would change anything, but because it was one thing, one small thing, one move forward in a game that felt rigged. 2 weeks later, Marcus got an interview. Not for his dream job, for a contract position. 3 months. No benefits, barely above minimum wage. He almost didn't go. What was the point? But Jamie's words echoed, just today. He went. He didn't get the job. But the interviewer, a woman named Patricia, asked him at the end, "What's your story? You're clearly overqualified for this." And for the first time in months, Marcus told the truth. "I've been rejected 103 times. I'm broke. My girlfriend left. I almost didn't wake up 2 weeks ago. But I'm here because my little brother reminded me that surviving is enough sometimes. And maybe I'm not done yet." Patricia stared at him. Then she said, "I have a friend. She runs a startup. They need someone who knows how to fight. I'll make a call." Marcus got the job at the startup 3 weeks later. It wasn't perfect. The hours were brutal. The pay was okay. The office was chaotic. But he had something he didn't have before, a reason to wake up. 6 months after that night on the floor with the bottle and his brother, Marcus led a campaign that tripled the company's client base. A year later, he was promoted to senior marketing director. But here's the thing. The victory wasn't the promotion. It wasn't the salary. It wasn't even proving everyone wrong. The victory was the morning after Jamie stayed over. The victory was choosing to rewrite the resume. The victory was showing up to an interview he didn't think he'd get. The victory was surviving when every part of him wanted to stop. I'm not telling you this story because it's inspiring. I'm telling you because it's true. And because right now, someone watching this is where Marcus was that night. You've applied to everything. You've been rejected more times than you can count. You're tired. You're ashamed. You've thought about the bridge. And you think no one understands. But Marcus does. And so do the thousands of people who have stood where you're standing and somehow made it to the other side. Not because they were stronger, not because they had some secret, but because they survived one more day. And then another. And then another. Until the days became weeks. And the weeks became proof that the voice telling them they weren't enough was lying. This isn't a fairy tale. Some of you will watch this and still feel hopeless tomorrow. Some of you will close this video and nothing will change. But some of you, maybe just one, will survive tonight because Marcus did. And that one person is worth every word of this story. If this story hit you in a way you didn't expect, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not for views, not for me. For the person sitting alone, right now, who thinks they're the only one. Show them they're not.